All right, so I have Rudy here today, and Rudy is a new contractor that we've been using at Rivendale Homes, and he's been doing drywall, and I just think you've been doing a really good job, man. Here at Super Rich, we're walking a level 5 home. You know, when I think about level 5, I think, man, that's like the best of the best when it comes to building your custom home. Can you tell us a little bit more about what level 5 is and why it's so important?
Well, level 5 is completely smooth drywall that is 100% covered with mud. The drywall is 100% covered with mud to have the same consistency throughout the whole entire job. So when they paint it, you can't see the difference between sheetrock and the mud. So it leaves a nice, smooth finish.
And by mud, we mean this compound, right? The compound it's a ready-mix compound or something like that? What kind do you use? And maybe tell us a little bit about the experience that your installers have in using that product.
Well, there's several different types. And the finisher that did the drywall here, he liked to use Panel Ray, which I approve of. And that's what he used on this job, Panel Ray Ready Mix.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And a little bit about this right here, just kind of looking in the wall here. So you were mentioning like a smooth finish, and it's very self-explanatory, right? When you look at the wall, it looks smooth. Like even if you touch it, it has a smooth feel to it. What's the process, man? How many coats are you putting in there? What are you doing in between coats? What's the curing time? What are some things you could school us on here?
All right. So with my level 5, because a lot of people say level 5 is different and level 4 is different. For my level 5, we do 2 coats after we tape on everything. And then we do a priming coat with the paint machine. And then we spray on and wipe down the mud throughout the whole entire job. So it has technically 5 coats.
Okay, cool. Okay, so the 2 coats would they tape it 1 coat?
No.
Okay, so the 2 coats after the taping, then you're priming it, and that's the 3rd coat?
Correct.
And then you're adding another layer?
Yep.
That's the 4th coat, and then
then we sand it.
And then you sand it, so you really are going 5 times. Is that why the level 5?
Because of the level 5, the requirement is to cover the wall, all the wall, 100%. So it could be all the same surface. That's why they call it level 5. So there's like 5 stages of it.
Yeah, very cool. Also see you got a light with you, man. Tell us a little bit more why you use that light and how do you do quality control with that?
For all my jobs, no matter what type of job it is, we use a light to check the finishing before texture or after we do the level 5. For example, this job, before we did level 5, we spotlight checked to see if we see any imperfection like hump and stuff like that. Mainly humps to avoid trying to fix them afterwards, because it's easy to fix them before we do the level 5. Before texture, you see all the imperfections that's not going to fly with the texture. We get them fixed before texture. So that's why we have a light. Each one of my supervisors carries a light around and a marking stick to go mark every job that we do.
Man, I love that. That's going above and beyond on quality. And you mentioned texture too, right? Texture is important because it is a level 5. It doesn't have texture, but some of our houses do have a texture, and the texture can be a little bit more forgiving, where level 5, you really have to be on top of your game, right? Yeah. Is there a difference, in type of drywall that we should be using? Sometimes when we do level 5, we spec out 5/8. Are you okay with either on the walls, a 1/2 inch, 5/8, or is there other reason to go on one way or another?
On the ceilings, for sure, we need 5/8. On the walls is more of a preference. It's not going to make that much of a difference. But the ceilings can sag with the heat. If there's a lot of heat or something, they can sag. The walls will be fine. No matter what, the 5/8 or the 1/2 inch is still going to follow the frame.
Well, you just mentioned there's something important, right? The frame. I guess even more important than the drywall they're using is making sure the frame is right, Is there anything that you do to make sure the frame is right? Do you visit the job site, or do you mark it out, or are your guys doing some repairs, or are you calling the supervisor? What's your process for
before we start hanging, we come and mark the light boxes on the doors or on the floor. And if we see anything wrong, we will typically let the builder know. But we do not go check, make sure everything's straight, because that's a framing job. They need to make sure that's done right, because we can be there for days trying to make sure that everything stays straight.
Yeah, so and for Rivendale, we especially when we know it's level 5, man, we're on those guys to try to do the best they can. And even then, sometimes things are not perfect, and even then, we sometimes have to tear something out and put it back. And nobody likes to do that, but we want to make sure that we're doing the right the right work for our clients, make sure they have the highest standard. But hey, thanks for your time, man. I really appreciate it.
All right.
Get to know you a little bit more and also seeing the quality that you do. We really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.